Hey everybody, your old pal Bo here, the only man on YouTube with a face for radio and a voice for print. I'll initiate a little impromptu stream. We'll see if anybody catches on. Put the link in the comments. You're welcome to join. So I was watching some videos today. I don't know, I kind of fell down a rabbit hole. There was one by, oh, I can't remember now. But I was talking about the RPG community. And I don't know if there's any such thing as an RPG community. I don't even know what that would mean. It seems that the RPG playing is such a fractured thing. Um, what is an RPG community, and does it mean that there's some kind of unity that we're all even playing the same game in the same style in the same manner? Do we get along? Do we have to get along? What if people? It seems so. Again, it seems so fractured and so so divisive. It seems RPGs have gotten so divisive that there's no way that we can form any kind of community, as it were. Uh, there's OSR, there's uh, 5e. 5e doesn't like 5e, OSR doesn't like 5e, OSR doesn't like OSR. So, what's going to happen? Howdy, folks. So, Shadow, you're welcome to join in if you want. I put the link in the comments in the description of the video. I wanted to talk about RPG community and what it means. Does it mean that we have to have some kind of a unity in the game? Should we play the same kinds of games? If you've gone to a friendly local game store in the last, say 2 or 3 years, maybe even since before COVID, 2018, 2019, what kind of games did you find people playing? What kind of games did you find the store selling? If all you see is 5e and Pathfinder, then yeah, I'm actually kind of responding to Total Party's video about that. That's without it being a video response. And then I watched a couple of DM Bloodworth's videos on it, and then I watched the famous Scott Garibay video on the topic where he says that we should all be playing 5e. And since we should all be playing 5e because that's where the community is. And then DM Bloodworth has one really good video about what is OSR, there's the three different kinds of OSR: old school, Renaissance, old school, revival, old school role playing. And then I always think and wonder, well, is the kind of game that I play on Friday night, is it old school? And I want it to be old school, but I don't even know what that exactly means. Uh, what is old school role playing? So again, Shadow, I'm pretty sure I put the link in the video description. You might have to just copy and paste it if you're on your tablet. Um, I don't know how to. I didn't think to send it in Discord. I didn't know if anybody would join in. I'm supposed to be getting ready for work. It's not quite 1700 Mountain Daylight Time. I've got about 45 minutes until I've got to be dressed and on the road. Um, Fortunately, it's Saturday, and the commute is much easier on Saturday afternoons than any other day of the week. So I'm painting. This was the Stargrave, basically a Stargrave Psyker. One of the ones I got from their version of it was basically a Kickstarter with their new set. I got that. I did an unboxing video on it. I'm just finally getting around to painting it. And then I've also got the Rogue Trader Psyker that oh wow, Max is here too. Yeah, I put the link to the link to the video in the description if you want to copy and paste it. I want to talk about the role playing game community and if there even is such a thing as an RPG community. Got a shower, give me a couple minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna be here probably until um like I said, maybe 45 minutes. So this was a Rogue Trader Psyker that Brian from Weird World War II sent to me, and I did the unboxing on it. and I rebased it with a larger base and raised it up. I was trying to make it. This is the Blackstone Fortress Psyker that came out a few years ago. You can obviously see the the evolution. It's a piece of paper on that. It's pretty much the same. You can see the inspiration, and it was a little bit shorter and a little bit chunkier because it's nice. It's got that 1980s flatness to it. So I rebased it so they're on the same, put it on 32 millimeter base and put some cork on it to raise it up so they're like the same size. And I'm going to paint them up in the same style to see how they, make a comparison. I will join listening while having a quick meal before going. That's fine, Max. I know that my videos aren't the most popular, but okay. When I think about the RPG community, this is who generally I consider the guys that we kind of run in the same circles. We have the same friends, whether that's real or parasocial. On YouTube, we play games together. So I mean, if I look at all the people that I play with, plus the peripherals, people I run into on streams, it's maybe what 25, 30 people. I mean, I've got 82 subscribers. They don't all interact. I don't know how many are bots. I don't know how many are real people. So if I build an RPG community, that's what I'm thinking about. But when I think about like Twitter or X or Facebook or the socials, it's really disappointing to me to think that that's, we don't get along. We don't play the same games. We don't do the same things. We don't hold the same views. Some people think that role playing games, in and of themselves, are a political endeavor. I'm one of those 82. Yeah, well, Brian, I am subscribed to your channel too. And I said, other Brian, Weird World War II Brian, sent me this robot, and I painted him up in that. We're doing a non-metal metallic, catching some highlights. I'm trying to get as much contrast as I can, and I did like a broken asphalt base, and then put a grass tuft on there. I really like that whole sort of that Mad Max aesthetic. I can see in my games a lot of either asphalt or deck plating or steel and garbage around, and that's kind of how I've been basing. And I had to stay.
What's up, Bo?
What, your camera's still busted?
No, I'm still drying off and
I'm still naked. I don't think there's an RPG community. We could, that our communities are circles, but it's not a block. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I was going with this. It's been on my mind a lot lately. The last maybe couple months, on and off, it kind of comes into my head. And I didn't know if I should just do a video on it or do a stream first. I'll probably end up doing a video on it later. When I think about this, is the thing. I've been doing a deep dive into old RPG magazines that I can find as PDFs online. Like GDW had a magazine called a Challenge back in the day. They did cover a lot of Traveller, and they did cover a lot of Twilight 2000, but they also did articles on games that they didn't publish. There was a time when even Dragon Magazine and White Dwarf Magazine did articles on games that they did not publish.
Yeah, we need to bring that back, whether we do it personally or.
Then that's really what I'm talking about here. I mean, that's community. That's Wargaming China. Again, if you want to jump in, I'm just trying to have a little bit of moderated discussion on what it means.
Here's the way I would sum it up. Okay, first off, hold on a second. I got some jackass. There's a whole lot of people in the world that want to split people up into communities and blocks and groups and chunks and factions and all that crap. I ain't having any part of that. You know, you got friends, right?
Right. Well, maybe.
Okay. You got family, right?
Definitely. I got family.
That's all there is. That's all there is. I mean, unless you want to, buy some land and start a commune somewhere, or a compound. Uh, you know, hang out with whoever you want, whenever you want, whenever you can. Appreciate them while you can, and uh, I communicate and consider myself on friendly terms with a lot of people I probably wouldn't get along with if they lived next door to me. You know what I mean? I'll
Sure.
game with them in person or online whenever I can, and appreciate them for who they are. Try to accept them when I can. When I can't, I'll still probably game with them.
Right.
That's it's just kind of that simple.
No, I agree. But I think about things like the way things were. And maybe you could never go back, but think about things like, early gaming conventions. People that show up at a gaming convention could be considered a community or a fandom, right? Because we share a love for something that's beyond just our tribe should be bigger, is what I'm saying. Like I said, when you
You gotta just reach out to people, watch people's videos or go to shops and introduce yourself and, try to strike up a conversation, be friendly, keep it, about the hobby and, enjoy them while you can and, move on to the next thing, we can't game 24/7. I
no,
wish
you
we
can't.
could, but we can't. I mean,
So
I kind of do. But
we're not thinking about there's a para gaming element, right? Like I was talking to Max Lau about this. I love Legions of Myth, right? I love it. I mean, I love it enough that I actually give him a little bit of money every month to support his channel. That's fine, but I don't participate in his stream on Friday nights. Why don't I participate in his stream on Friday nights? Because playing a game is better than talking about a game.
oh hell yeah!
But a lot of the things that we do on YouTube or Twitter, or by definition, if you're on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, you're not playing a game. You're talking about a game. If I'm sitting here painting a mini, I'm not playing a game. I might be preparing for a game. I might be thinking about gaming. So a lot of that community, if there is such a thing, is not necessarily gaming, but it's all the stuff that goes around gaming. It's all those elements. Who is this? Mr. Max. Mr. Max. Always welcome, because if Mr. Max is here, then I feel like I've hit the big time.
I'm still a very small channel. I hope you can hear me well and I don't echo too much. I'm on my laptop. I'm not in my office.
Mr. Hungar is also in the house. Boy, what a rogues gallery we've attracted today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
yeah, and nobody's on camera but you. Hey, what's up, Max?
That's okay, because I'm the man with the face for radio and the voice for print.
How you doing, Shadow?
How you doing, Max?
I'm doing all right.
Not bad, not bad. About ready to scarf down a sandwich, and then in a couple hours I'm doing my show. And I saw Bo was doing a show, and
I just got this stuff on my mind. Like I was telling, I don't know if Max is here, but in the U.S. especially, until the late '90s, so maybe even early 2000s, large game companies, the TSR and GDW, and even smaller like Steve Jackson Games, and these companies published magazines every month. And in Dragon Magazine, you could read an article about another game that TSR didn't publish or that GW didn't publish, and I think that fostered a larger sense of community. You might even get a review. GW is going to review this book from TSR and vice versa. But somewhere along the way, this corporate element, they made these magazines be house organs only for their properties.
Yeah, it's business.
So there's a Dungeon and Dragon, and there was one there was a British version called, I think, Adventurer Magazine. And I've gone back and tried to Yoho, Sail the High Seas for as many PDFs of these magazines as I can for adventure seeds and hooks and lore for, my sci-fi game.
Sure.
And when you read these articles, it's not just nostalgia, but it seems to me that there is an increased sense of there's less divisiveness. And
Well, yeah, you got to understand that the powers that be, they want us all boxed into little groups, bickering at each other, so we're not paying attention to what they're doing. I'm not having any part of that. Life's too short. There's certain times when you need to put yourself in a box, or you need to be put in a box for reasons. But gaming, this is a freaking hobby. It's supposed to be fun. And if I invite somebody to the game and they make the game great, but outside the gaming table, I couldn't hang out with them, I'm going to appreciate the time that I get to game with them and go on my merry way and toddle the fuck off.
Yeah, the opposite is true as well, Shadow. Like, there's some people, like, you can enjoy outside the game table, but, like, we have different view of, like, how the game should be run. We want different thing from the game. So you say, you know what? I have your table your way, and I have my way. You know what I mean? Like, there's people like, I like Bruce a lot. Like Bruce Lombardo. I think he's a nice guy. We play the game in a very different way. And, maybe, like,
Sure.
I wouldn't enjoy myself that much at his table. He wouldn't enjoy himself that much on my table. Whatever. It's all right. We don't have to hate each other for a reason. It's just fucking hobby.
Right. Well, yeah, because so many people out there make money on us hating each other or only buying into their product. I'm not doing that. I'll buy Games Workshop stuff, and I'm not going to take it to their shop and play because they don't want me there. And more than likely I'll buy their product from somebody else and help somebody else out. I will go over there occasionally, buy my bottle of Valhalla Blizzard, but then I get the hell out of there and go do what I want to do because I'm not beholden to anybody. I'm kind of fortunate in that respect, and I can, I'm in a bunch of different groups. I play, sometimes 3 to 5 different games a week with all kinds of different people, and eventually you find your own tribe, or at least you find a new friend or a couple of new friends, and I include them in my mental file of people I like and people, I just don't know that well.
Mm-hmm. And it's true, there's a lot of, like, even on a little side on the internet, like, there's circle, and, like, sometimes those circle cross, and even in that, there's, like, click, and I don't like doing the click thing, so that's why, like, I'm gonna go on. I go on different people's channel, I talk with different people because they don't like each other. I don't fucking give a shit. You're allowed to dislike somebody that I like. I'm
right.
Yeah, it's
absolutely. I look at it like chainmail. You guys know what chainmail is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm one circle, but I'm connected to a whole bunch of other circles around me, and those circles are connected to a whole bunch of other people, and so on and so on. And each circle or each link is a different person, and if you follow the link, the chain, you'll bump into people, or you'll be connected to a whole bunch of people, and hopefully we'll all get a chance to game together and make some good memories, and hopefully we can keep doing that. But sometimes just like people and friends in your real world, you'll make a friend and they got to move away, and then you never hear from them again. Or sometimes they'll call you all the time. Or sometimes, something unfortunate happens and you never get to see them again. Well, hopefully you'll take some time out of your busy schedule every once in a while and remember the good times, and that's it.
Yeah. So hold on one second. Hungar, you're right regarding your mini, and that's a good tangent to this point. Nerd's Nerd is could be a real asset to a community like that. I mean, obviously she's gregarious and energetic and talented and willing to tolerate your shenanigans. If you want to come onto the stream, we've certainly got a spot for you if you want to participate in today's. I do want to keep it kind of a moderated discussion for a while. If we drift off into other things, that's fine. But I just, again, if like Shadow mentioned that video previously with
Total Party Skills.
Total Party Skills. You kind of got me on that this morning, and then I watched some videos from DM Bloodworth, and then the famous one from J. Scott Garibay, where he said that we should all be playing 5e. because 5e is where the real work to be done in the community is. And
that's just propaganda designed to, help him look, or ingratiate himself to a big company. And, if that's what he wants to do with his life, fine. Personally, I find him laughable at best and pitiable, on average.
It is, but you understand. I think that it does speak to the point that there's like the whole like the D&D purists and the guys that do like the fake RPG oh my God.
If we do that, we all play the same freaking game, then we end up being closer and closer to the same freaking person and product. And I'm not going to be boxed up like that. I've played 5e, I played 3.5, I played third. They're not my game. I'm not going to tell people don't ever play that because, my kid, he plays 3 or 3.5 or something with his friends.
Right.
I want him to have those memories. And make those friends. And, someday later on down the road, they'll be like, let's play something new. And then maybe he'll say, oh, well, my dad's got 500 different games. Let's go see if we can find something we like. Awesome. If they play 3, 5, or 5 or 20th edition until the end of time, as long as they're playing, right?
Well, yeah, but you mentioned that getting boxed in. And then the problem I'm having is that if I go to my local game stores, and there are like 3 that are fairly close by, and one that's more mainstream and one that's more traditional underground. The only two games that I see that are role playing games ever really are Pathfinder and 5e. Mm-hmm. And I'd always hoped that D&D would be like a gateway drug to other role playing games. But what I find is almost the opposite.
Most stores cannot, stock old games.
Okay, they can't stock
and because and because of that, they're going to at least try to stock what they think is the most popular right now. I've worked in, half a dozen game stores over my life, and I'm going to open a store in Texas, and when I do, it's going to be vastly different from your generic game store that's no different than your average Dollar Tree. You walk in there and they've got everything on the same aisles as every other store, and it's cookie cutter shopping. You want this, here it is. If you want something else, you're gonna have to go someplace else. Well, without
berating Wizards and Hasbro too much, I did find it very interesting to learn that they would like to shift entirely away from paper products and go entirely online, which will hamstring those game companies even more, because then they won't even have the TSR products. TSR. Wow. Okay. Hasbro products to sell.
Yeah, but maybe that's a good thing for D&D though, because like the more you isolate people, the least people are gonna default back to the biggest name, because it's gonna be easier to find a group. It's gonna be easier. You know what I mean? It's like I always say, like the WotC. I said TSR. So WotC, they want to teach you to play the game wrong, because then they can sell you more stuff. They're a business. They're about making money. They're not about you having a good experience at the table. So
believe it or not, Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions, I think they created an app that allows you to find gamers in your local area for the games you want to play.
Yeah,
more things like that are more things like that, or using Facebook or whatever to find people, or just, whenever you meet somebody new, find out what they play, maybe make a note of it, and, maybe even, start making files of, who plays what. And when you're in the mood for that, call them up, say, hey, I'm going to run a game. You want in?
Right.
If not,
That's what? Go ahead. Sorry, cut you off.
Just, do some research, if you want to play, Toon, okay? I guarantee you there's some people out there that would love to play a game of Toon, okay? Not my thing, but, if somebody said, hey, Shadow, we want you in our game of Toon, I'd be like, well, thanks, guys. When are you playing? I'll see if I can squeeze it in. Or, if I can't, it's like, sorry guys, I just don't have the time in my schedule. But communication is key.
But
Yeah,
it's not easy. So it's not easy because like even to find group online, because we sometimes I almost feel like we don't have the language, because like we all say, oh, you play D&D, I play D&D, we play like role playing game, we're all into the same hobby. Is that even true though? Because like sometimes like it's so different. Some people are more on the war game side, some people are more on the narrative side, some people are more on the, oh, we're gonna do modules, some people want to do, there's different game, and it's already like a niche hobby. And
Well,
now
you
we're
know what?
getting more
You know
niche.
what? Maybe we should find somebody who knows the technical side of things and make a new website of active gamers, people looking to play online, and the games that they play. Like a Facebook thing, or better yet, more like a dating app. Where it tells I like long walks on the beach and playing Traveler, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And then you could
Even
do a
more.
search.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, just you guys get the idea.
Yeah.
Come up with an app for people who want to play, and you could just search by game or location, and then check out their profile and see if they look like a good fit. Then maybe do a telecall or something like that. Get to know them and say, hey, I saw your profile. I'm looking for gamers for this game online or this game in person, and here's my profile, and maybe if you're not busy, we can game.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds kind of weird, but
a lot of things like that. I think what I found with things like that, it's like looking for group boards like on Reddit or whatever.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's if you're not a playing a very popular game, then the noise to signal ratio becomes so high they become drowned out. If you get on Reddit and say, I'm looking for a game that's not 5e, your thread will, just by virtue of its lack of popularity, will get pushed to the bottom of the page and just fall off. And that's like there's a local guy that put together a gaming app, but it was just all D&D because that's what people play.
That's why you've got to make it searchable. By game, by location.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's nothing like that I know.
A big part of the challenge, you have to go like so deep just because of the nature of what the hobby is. Like if you play a war game, you go there at the table. It's a one-time thing. You following the rules. There's very interpersonal reaction between the player, except some banter. When you play a role-playing game, oftentimes it's going to be a longer endeavor. It's a long session, multiple sessions sometimes. And because you contribute to narrative, you always put more of yourself in it. So now not only you have to find the people that are available at the time you want to play the system that you want to play, maybe want to play in the style that you want to play. Now you're gonna say like, oh, and we're gonna do no tiefling. Then already you cut a bunch of people as well. Then you say we're gonna roll 3d6 down the line. Then you cut a bunch of people on again. All those things. And then you want to say like, no fucking weirdo. I don't want people that is gonna join my group and gonna make it like a weird sex thing, right?
Yeah.
And how do you express that in those profile? At some point, you just like become like it's like it's something that's so personal and so like it's so involved. It's not just like
yeah. But you know what? I'm going to use
right.
I'm going to use the dating analogy again.
Yeah.
People have been online dating for you just trial and error. If you've ever dated online, admittedly, I actually have, and you just have to look at it like that. You're looking for a person, to fill a specific role in your life.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not to be taken too seriously. However, friends, that's a totally different thing. I mean, there are friends I'll take a bullet for. There's other friends that I'd like to see them take a bullet. I guarantee if there was a thing out there, an app or a dating site for gamers, hundreds of thousands of gamers would find new gamers to hang out with, at least once a week, once a month kind of thing, and that would be a hell of a lot better than the way it is now. Trying to go to your local game store and walk in and go, there's nothing in here I give a rat's ass about. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, and then there are people who are going to go in there and go, oh my God, this is Mecca. This is my heaven. I finally found my new home away from home. Cool. Let's make the search easier.
Those poor nerds, they already have to go on those regular dating sites.
Mm-hmm.
Trying
Right.
to find love, trying to find a gaming group. Life's complicated. Life ain't easy when you're a nerd.
Life ain't easy.
You know what,
when
though?
you're-
You know what, though? Just between you guys and the whole rest of the world,
Hmm?
that's how I
Sorry?
met my wife. That's how
Yeah?
I met my wife. We've been together almost 20 years.
Hmm.
It's not perfect, far from it, but you know what?
Yeah.
It worked out.
Right.
And I guarantee you, like this is a perfect example. I have met all you guys. I haven't gamed with you, Max,
Yeah.
but I've gamed with Bo. I've gamed
You're
with
welcome at our table,
Omen.
bro.
I've gamed with Omen. I've gamed with Matt Craft, Bruce, Kai, Shade, Shut Up Dog, Connell, Bloodworth, and 20 other guys. Mark from Mark's Shop, Mixer, and like I said, I've gamed with at least 40 different people I never met or I didn't know a year and a half ago. Thanks to Cal, who's here. He introduced me. He and Grim Deceit basically introduced me to all you guys, and this was even a possibility. Otherwise, I'd just be painting miniatures and once or twice a month, taking an 8-hour drive to go game with my old buddies who don't game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Maybe except for 2 of them, and you know what? I obviously I'd rather game with you guys in person, but until I can fix that,
Right.
I'm very, very grateful to be able to game with you guys on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's actually a lot more convenient, less messy. It may not be the 8-hour, marathon games like days of old, but I don't even have that time, now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And on the topic of community and gaming, that's also like when you have the chance to have like an in-person gaming group, right? Is your gaming group you're playing GURPS with Bo, is it a person group?
No, none of it. It's all on Discord. So it's a pen and paper game, but it's facilitated electronically. We do have a dice roller, but it's all very theater of the mind. I've got a map for a lot of the games that I run. At least we're doing sort of a dungeon crawl right now, but it's going to wrap up in the next week or two, and then we'll see if it moves to a hex crawl or an investigation game or wherever the players want to take it. I mean, try not to railroad them too much. But we've been going for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Pretty consistently. We haven't missed very many sessions in the last year.
Has it really been a year already?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty close. Didn't we start last maybe last February or March? I know we started before I went to Arizona last year, and I went to Arizona in the spring. So it couldn't have been any later than March.
But what I was saying is like when you have like a regular gaming group, I guess online count as well, but like when you have a regular gaming group, we talk about community. That's your community, that's your gaming group, and that's also something that role-playing game bring. That is like so that very few other hobby actually bring, because it's almost like a commitment that you have, like an obligation. You say, well, on Saturday evening we get together and we game, whatever, like the date you choose or the frequency that you choose. And when we get adult and we have less and less time, something that's very hard to keep, like, we see our friend less and less. When you can get your friend into a gaming group, that's one thing you say that, well, we're going to keep, like, how many people say like, oh, you get adult and all with your friend. It's always like, oh, we should do something sometime. You meet each other and say like by random, when you talk to each other, oh, we should get together and do something sometime, and then you never do. That's like the whole fucking adulthood friendship. That's what it is. When you have this gaming group, it's not what it is. And role-playing game are specifically good at that because it's a prolonged commitment with that you're going to do with frequency, and the other kind of rely on you at some point. If you do like if you have a regular board game group, right, every month or whatever you do,
Right.
some people are gonna say, "Oh, I cannot make it this time. I'll catch up next time." It's too easy to drop out, drop in, drop out, drop in, drop out. In RPGs, not so much. So, and same thing with all kind of like I have this gym crew that I train with, and the same
Right.
thing. Some people like just want, "Oh, I cannot make it today." Well, all right, we're gonna do our stuff and stuff like that. We'll see you next week. No big deal, right?
Right.
Role playing game, it brings that thing that you're gonna keep it's great for this community building. It reminds me like the bowling alone kind of thing, right? You see like people like going, because even a bowling league, that's at some point that's what happened as well. Like some people are gonna drop out, and you don't feel like you're building something long term like you do when you create, like when you build this narrative. And well, maybe I'm just preaching for the choir there, but maybe the bowlers.
Hey, Max, long time no see. And Mini Warmut, you guys are welcome on my show anytime.
And Mr. Max Lau, I'm kind of interested in your opinion on this too. You've sort of built a community with the Legion of Myth channel, but I mean, we talked about it's gaming and then metagaming, all the things that go on peripheral to gaming, like the mini painting and buying books and doing research and talking about games with your friends and your this online group, and trying to maybe improve the type and manner of your role playing, right? We're all trying to get and you wish Mr. Max talked this much last night. Well, again, all I can do is just sort of try to give a topic and set the stage and see what happens. And this is much for my aggrandizement as anything, because this is something that I'm interested in getting the opinion of experienced role-playing gamers, right? People that have been around this longer than I have, since I had such a long hiatus from role-playing. And honestly, when I came back, it was almost nothing like I remembered and participated in. Both the technology and some of the games had changed so much. And really, of course, Max, I think I put the link in the banner or in the description of the video. I don't know how to put it in the comments. I don't know. Can I write in the comments? I don't think I can.
You can copy paste. You should be able to copy paste it.
But Max will find the link in the description. Max will find the link in the description. He's a smart guy.
I'm just using my phone here. I've got a really good internet connection here, so I can typically do okay with my phone. I wish I had a better studio. That darn cat is supposed to, when he gets well enough, he's going to come up here and we're going to finish this room in the basement and turn it into a more proper studio.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're praying that his cancer treatments are going well and he'll be able to come up soon, because he is pretty much a contractor. I mean, by trade.
Who's this?
That darn cat.
Oh yeah. I missed the name. Sorry.
No, yeah. Kevin is quite the. We've done a lot of work on this house. We usually get 1 or 2 weeks in a year, but since he's been so sick, he hasn't been able to drive or participate. But he is a guy that's been around the block in terms of role playing games. Yep. And I think that what happens, I think a lot of people that are like us just kind of drop out of that part of the community. Mm-hmm. Because we feel so overwhelmed by these by the Hasbro WotC crew. And Shadow actually wanted to ask you a question about that. You said they want to put us in boxes or blocks or separate us or be divisive. Do you think that like WotC Hasbro wants to? Didn't they even care? Because all they want is for us to buy their books. Right? Mm-hmm. They just want to buy their books.
Boxes metaphorically.
They want to buy their books.
They only believe in 2 boxes from my perspective: their box and everybody else's box. They want everybody in their box. Not going to do it. Hey, Max, long time no see, man.
Hello,
Well,
hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, I expect the viewers to just take off now because I've got like all the heavy hitters came over to my tiny little 80 subscriber channel to chew the fat for 20, 30 minutes, whatever. I feel so incredibly grateful that you guys
You're always
wanted
too busy to be on my stream, so I decided I'd come over here and stream bomb you.
Yeah,
No, Bo and I are in a game together every Friday night.
Excuses.
So,
like I said
really good
earlier, I'd rather. I love your channel and I love your stream, but if the choice comes down to playing a game or talking about a game, I'm going to pick playing a game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I can't argue with you on that one. That's just giving you a bunch of crap.
The last time I was on your show, you had such shitty ratings because we had such a, divisive freaking topic. Can't believe that crap.
Yeah, Bo, you want to flip the two Macs on top so you won't be behind the StreamYard logo?
Oh, I don't even know how to do that. Oh,
there you go.
Oh, wow. Hey, that was pretty freaking cool. Yeah. All right. Well, and again, I want to tell you how you got the StreamYard logo on your face. Yeah, well, that's I'm a giver. You guys are my number one priority. I'm just here to facilitate and moderate. Yeah. I'm just opinionated enough to want to put myself on. Now you aren't censored. Speaking of, so hey, Mr. Brian, I've been working on your minis. Your minis this week, and I tried to send you a care package, but the post office decided to send it back to me. So I'll have to say the shipper, I put your address down as a shipping address, but the shipper decided to put the billing address as a shipping address. So we're gonna have to remail it later in the week. So look out for a package. And I'm expecting an unboxing video from Mr. Brian at Weird World War II, care of Bo Paints Minis. I just thought you needed a little pick me up, and I saw something online, and I said that looks just like Brian. So we'll see how that turns out. Yeah. So we're talking about the gaming community, and if there's even such thing as a gaming community. And I'm interested in this.
I think I would sum it up simply: there is a community if you want it. If you and your friends want to call yourselves a freaking community, be my guest. Nobody owns the damn word, nor the definition, and you can get real pedantic about it. But you know what? I got a circle of friends that's getting bigger literally every day, and that's what I'm going to run with.
I generally agree with that. I think that some people it's certain terms people just freak out over, like session zero or community or whatever. I have no problems with people saying, hey, the TTRPG community, yada yada, just for the purposes of saying, hey, the people within the hobby that play the game. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying, well, my community is the table. There's nothing wrong with saying my community is people who play the game I play. There's nothing wrong with people who say it's people who play the same way I do. I don't care. It's just a generic term. And I think that people are like, there's no community. Oh my God. Oh, shut up.
Those are people who've got, other issues, and, I'll pray for them and hope they get better. But to be honest, I've been watching a lot of Avenger lately, and I think I'm actually just going to start a cult.
A cult? Yeah.
Well, that's for the money, right?
Sorry?
I mean, come on, you guys can picture me up there on the, in the podium, telling my followers to, yeah, right.
You need the white robe like Jared Leto.
I'll know to pass.
There you go. Hey, I only drink water, so if it's not water and I'm not drinking it, you're probably wise to do the same.
I've Shadow. I've switched entirely and 100% to the 0 calorie seltzer waters. I really need the bubbles because of my EOE. Food gets stuck in my throat, and the bubbles kind of flush the plumbing. But
You love Germany.
I've been almost
Really?
entirely off of sugar for the
Yep,
last.
me too. Unless it's natural, like I just had fruit.
When the doctor told me that if I don't cut off the sugar, I'm going to get on diabetes medication. So I'm like, oh shit.
I don't even. That blows me away. I mean, you're probably one of the healthiest guys in the community, and you know, how's that even a thing? You know?
Genetics. Sometimes sometimes your pancreas just says no, you're getting close to 50. We're not going to work anymore. So if my pancreas goes on strike, then that's fine. But if I can get on a diet that will, get my A1C down below 5, then or whatever, that'd be fine too. And I've also been I heard that if you walk immediately after you eat, then that helps lower your blood sugar. So after I eat, I take a 15-minute walk. I feel like I live. I work on the 7th floor of the hospital. So I just walk stairs for 15 minutes after I eat. I can usually get, go up and down those 6 flights of stairs, 6 or 7 or 8 times in that 15 minutes, and then go back to work and feel a little bit more refreshed and awake, because that's usually at 0-200 anyway. The life of a night shift nurse. But this is the thing I like about our community. We care about each other's health, and we have the wherewithal to say, hey man, I'm going to include you in my prayer group this week, things like that, and not get so offended that dwarf.
Yeah,
Dwarf.
I actually,
Hey,
believe it or not,
dwarf is a class, man. Dwarf isn't even a race. Dwarf is a class.
I actually, associate with some people that actually believe you need to ask permission. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I freaking don't.
Permission for what?
To include
pray
somebody
for
in
somebody
prayer.
else.
Including my prayer group, Mr. Max.
Mm-hmm.
The other Mr. Max, Mr. Max, and Mr. Max.
I have no words for that nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want.
This is
so,
coming from
like,
somebody who's a non-practicing. I was raised Lutheran, non-practicing anything. It's like when somebody sneezes, somebody says, "Bless you." Don't say that. Shut up.
Yeah.
It's our term of saying, hey, good health, be better, whatever, grow up. That's offensive to me. Well, great, then I'm going to offend you a lot.
Like Calvin only say,
I'm just gonna fall back on the First Amendment and give him a couple of these on my way out.
No, not even that. I mean, if somebody was an absolute pagan and said they were going to, say a prayer for me or something, or somebody says Happy Hanukkah or Happy Kwanzaa, I'm just going to say, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thank
hypothetically,
I have got a rogues gallery today. This might be the most successful
Hey,
stream
Jay,
that I've
long time no
ever
see, buddy.
done.
so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to cut the heads off of a couple chickens for you. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
As long as you fry them
You're
up
gonna eat them
afterwards,
after.
bro.
Exactly. As long as you save me the gizzards, the livers, and the hearts, because I haven't had any good fried chicken giblets in a long time.
Oh, dude.
You're like a cat,
Oh,
man.
Shadow Man, when I was down in Georgia, you go to these like roadside, like combination cafe and gas station. Not even kidding. And you go down there and you get like the paper boats with, like some hush puppies, some French fries, and some fried livers and gizzards. Oh man.
You can have all mine, dude.
That's
I don't
good.
eat organs. I don't eat organs unless they're in sausage, and then I don't want to know.
Jade, we're talking about the role-playing game community, and this is the problem I have. I'm old enough to remember when, if you said RPG, you were talking about pen and paper games, not video games.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that last night too. Like, I'm one of the people I've converted over. It's TTRPG. I don't care. Video games make over $1 billion a year. The tabletop role playing community or game system hobby, whatever, does not do that. They can have the RPG. It's just like when we had those goofballs on last night. It's like, well, we don't call them JRPG because that means something different. Shut the hell up. The entirety of the everybody calls it JRPG. That's what it
Mhm.
is. So I don't care what term you want to use. That is what it is. Well, it's really not. It's really console RPG. Well, CRPG means classic role playing game. So no. I'm not letting you one. It's like when the people change the stupid pronoun nonsense. Sorry, I'm not going to let 5% or 1% or 0.5% of people or you just because you have a hang up change what you want to say or change the English language because it makes you feel better. Shut the hell up and conform.
But it's this whole thing
What
about
is-
like
What is a JRPG?
What's that?
What's a JRPG?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Oh, see, I'm so
Final
far.
Fantasy, for example.
Oh. Oh, I like Final Fantasy.
But it's the same thing like you're saying with like people like fucking panic with the word community and stuff like that, you know, and people like, you know, language is important because that's how we communicate thought, but it's also how we form thought for most people, right?
Yep.
It's through language, and that's why people want to control language in one way or the other. Like, it's the same thing when they say like with the pronoun things was part of that, and yeah, like don't say TTRPG, say TTRPG, say, like whatever. It's like, man, at some point like we have to agree on some definition. And it was the same thing when I talk about like session 0 and people call it like, oh, I should be called session -1. Who the fuck care, you know?
Well, see, so people don't like Session 0 because it's a newer term, and they want the grognard term, which was, hey, you want to come over to my house and make characters, and we'll talk about the campaign I'm going to run? Or we could just say, hey, let's have Session 0. You know what? I like efficiency. I'm going to say let's have Session 0. I can't talk.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of the few things I've actually, appreciated, that come around in the last 20 years, because most of my collection is more than 20 years old. I've been picking up some new stuff, but you know what? This old dog can learn some new tricks, and if they
As long as it makes sense, right?
Yeah, you know what? Most of us are kind of old dogs, and if we can't learn a new trick, then time to hang up our dice bags, I guess. I played a whole lot of games I never thought I'd play, a whole lot of games I'd never heard of 20 years ago, and I'm going to keep doing that. But what I really have a problem with is people telling me how and what I can say. If speech becomes so controlled, then you actually lose you actually lose the truth. And I'm a huge fan of the truth. And if we can't even speak the truth, then we're going to eventually get to that point in the Planet of the Apes where we're just running around in furs and picking fruit and not even being able to communicate, because what's the damn point? We're not allowed to say these things.
When you play like all those fucking words games, right? It makes you stupider because now you don't want to just think about what you want to say. You have to think about like all those trap words that you need to avoid and shit like that, and fucking annoys the hell out of
Well,
you.
it's also control, right?
Actually, Mac, I don't have to say shit. I mean, I'll say what I want in my best Eric Cartman voice. I'm doing all that.
Whatever, I do what I want.
And if anybody doesn't like it, guess what? There's the freaking door, because I rule the Shadow Compound with an iron fist.
Well, and that's the thing. Can we even do that anymore? We talk about things like the inclusive experience. I know that Max Myth is really big on that. In fact, I've the RP Gate your banner has become my the background on my gaming laptop awesome. where I do my RPG work, because we have to have this forced inclusion and this forced diversity, and I have to let anyone play at my table or my game, and I have to change the way I game. Well, this says the community, right?
Fuck those people. Your game, your hobby.
Have you
your
seen
way.
them? No, I wouldn't fuck them with your dick. Nope, not happening.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
That's good, because I'm sure that Mrs. Paints Minis would appreciate that too.
So to talk about RP Gate, not to promote my stuff here, I think everybody should be using it, and you don't have to give me credit for it. But because to be honest, it kind of comes from Comicsgate as well. I mean, what is it? It's escapism, not representation, because all the people this is the first time in an Asian game I was ever represented. I'm sorry, but Oriental Adventures is actually a book older than you are. Shut your pie hole. Move on. What's the say?
Oriental Adventures
was a great freaking book. Oriental Adventures was a great freaking book. And it was all about appreciation, not appropriation. And if you can't figure that shit out, you need to actually go back to freaking school, probably around 6th grade. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, and learn
It's
what
only
you
crazy
what
white
you,
women and their cucks that care anyway. Everybody else like actually looks at that as like this is interesting, or it's at least a neat representation. Oh, look, it's cinematic. Yeah, all of that nonsense. When people go off, and it's like when they go off on Palladium books over you were insensitive to Aborigines. Where? Tell me one Aborigine that actually cared. Like,
Yeah, you know what? Let me get James L on the phone and I'll have him do a survey for us.
right?
Yeah.
Then entertainment over activism, because and we just had it again. Somebody put out a book and it's like, I only want certain people to play my game. This game or that new paladin. Oh, we have our first autistic paladin. Aren't they all lawful good? Wouldn't that just kind of
As a long-time player of Paladins, yes, we are all autistic.
right? And then the final one, this is one you were talking about, Bo, is organic, natural inclusion, not forced diversity, because diversity in this case, and Heathen Dog, actually, I didn't know this until a couple weeks ago, but he brought it up. He was essentially, he wasn't allowed to promote his game there because he didn't specifically state that he was looking for BIPOC and LGBT plus players. He's like, I just want people who want to play the game. And then you had Ian World, who came out a couple.
Reddit.
What's that?
Where was that? Was that on Reddit? Sounds
No,
like
no,
Reddit.
that was actually at a physical gaming store where he lives in Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and then Ian
Can we
World
get the
and
name of that store so we can never go there?
well, I mean, unless you live in Michigan, it's not gonna be. It's probably near Detroit because he lives outside Detroit. But anyway, but the other thing is you had EN World and you had what was the other site? RPG Net, or whatever the hell that one's called. And they're like, if at least 50% of your game doesn't include BIPOC or LGBT, you need to leave that table and open up space for those people. But if they don't want to play,
right.
I'm gonna play.
Yeah, can we go over to RPG Elite's page and ask him if he can give us a list of all the people that would
Yeah.
that are looking for a game that just happen to be like him. He's a great guy, but I'm pretty sure he would be like, no, that's a bunch of bullcrap.
Yeah,
I need
he
to get
was
him back on the show.
videos out recently about how, hey, it's mostly like middle-aged white guys that are still playing this game. Isn't that
Mhm.
if you're looking for a cross section of the community, then that's what you should really be going for.
So weird WW2. I don't, but the problem is the big players in the hobby do. You have Wizards of the Coast. I mean, just for example, I rail on
Absolutely.
Pathfinder and D&D like crazy because of the fact that they're woke nonsense. You have one which is the 800-pound gorilla, the other's like the 200-pound gorilla of the hobby, and what they promote, other people glom onto or see as an expectation. One of the reasons on my show I don't blast Pathfinder too much, even though it's a crap game, like I just don't like the game itself and how it plays, is because it's its own company. We rail on WotC because WotC has done everything it can to destroy what was Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I don't care if you
And
make
stop
your
on
own
any
stuff.
competition.
Yeah,
And
but
stuff
it's
on any-
the 800-pound gorilla. I don't play it, okay? But it's the 800-pound
Yeah, yeah.
gorilla, and you talk to anybody, my coworkers, they all play it. My the people I hang out with, they all play it. It's not about me. It's
Not
about
about us. We have to think about the new people joining the hobby as well. You know,
Yeah.
it's probably like gonna be the first contact with the hobby, right? And then they're gonna fucking come into
absolutely.
like the fucking gay shit, like lecturing you in the book and shit like that, and say like, well, man, this hobby is not for me, right? And those are the people we want to join. Like, I wish, like, I wouldn't be mad if those fucking weirdo would pick up those books and say, "Oh, there's slavery in this book. This hobby is not for me," and go away. Yeah, I don't want to be sad about that. But now it's good people that go away because the books are full of fucking crap.
Their
right.
heads are going to explode when the new Arduin comes out. Just saying.
Yeah, but Arduin's niche, though. I mean, that's like so many
Well, when
other
when-
games out there.
Their head are not gonna explode because they're never gonna come in contact with it. They're
Yeah.
never gonna fucking
Well,
see it.
maybe not.
They don't even know it
When the
exists.
new Kickstarter comes out, guys, when the new Kickstarter comes out, I'm going to do everything I can because I'm, working with them to make sure that it gets at least the same sort of treatment as Shadow Dark did. And everywhere I turn around, I'm seeing people, talk about this game, and I'm like, yeah, I've watched her run a playthrough of her own game, and I would rather go to the DMV than play that game.
Well, is it the game or is it the game? I mean, let's look at Castles and Crusades, man. Castles and Crusades is a great game, but when I watch them run the game, it makes me want to gouge my eyes out. They're horrible game masters.
When the designer's running her own game, and I would literally rather go to the dentist than be in her game.
But is it the game's fault or is that the gamer's fault? Because most of the time I find out it's not the game's fault. So let me flip the script for a moment. You know that I was on GM's Elcos and his Pathfinder game for late, and you know I despise Pathfinder 2. I would rather shoot a toe off than play Pathfinder 2. But he is such a good game master and actually let me play the character the way I role play. And it didn't work for everybody at the table, but it worked for other people at the table. So we found that there's a mix in that. But you can be a great game master and make a shit game good, but you can also be a horrible game master and make a great game horrible. Yeah, I think it is too bad.
I'm okay with half of that. Making a crap game fun. But if you can't make your own game fun, then you need to kind of maybe practice on that.
Okay.
Like actually play test the game. With a whole bunch of people, because that's
so I would give it to somebody else. Like if that was me, I'd be like, you know what? I'm not the best game master out there, but I'm a good game designer. So let me give it to somebody else who is a good game master to be the promo for it. That's what I would do.
So the opposite of those who can't do teach. Those who can do can't teach. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't think it's universal, but yeah, okay.
No. It's not what he's saying. He's saying like being game master and being game designer are different skill.
Yes.
No, I get it. But
although I don't think your custom is an amazing game, I don't believe that. But
I mean, one of the things that's neat about where I work now. So I mean, I've worked for DoD for 30 years, right? And I work for wargaming for the Air Force, and it's been an interesting animal working here because there's definitely a different mentality in what goes into, we'll just say, getting the mission done. And as somebody who's worked, for the Army, for the Air Force, for the Marines, for DISA, this is a very unique environment that I'm in. Heathnug's going to kill me for saying very unique, but still. But the reason why I'm saying this is what I've learned about this is that there are people that know these games in and out, like the back of their hands. There's one game that we do that's 6,000 pages of rules, and I'm not joking. 6,000 pages, and there are people who know that thing.
There's a Gersh player that got a boner when you said that.
Yeah, probably. But in and out. Okay, well, yet don't know how to play it for crap. What was that?
I said that's what you do with a boner. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so Shadow. I don't play Shadow because I'm not big into the whole 5e thing. Even if you make it grim dark, I have enough games. I'm glad it's out there. For the people who've told me about it, they're like, dude, this is what 5e should have been, and I'll give them that. If I had any interest in 5e or that gameplay style, I would probably go that direction because it sounds like something I'd be interested in. But you've seen behind me, Shadow. I've got enough games. I don't need to buy something new like that unless it's something I'm really going to. Hell, you know about my upcoming giveaway when I hit 5,000 subscribers, right?
No, I haven't been on your show in too
no
long,
problem.
buddy.
So when I hit 5,000 subscribers, and I'm not trying to promote my show, but maybe for some people out there might be interested in some of this, is I have the Here Have Max's Crap giveaway. That's actually what I'm calling it. Here Have Max's Crap. I'm cleaning out a couple of my bookshelves behind me with stuff that I have no intention of using anymore. Haven't used since like 1990. So some of it is going to be old. It might have some highlights in it, might have some writing in it because I've, played most of them back in the day. And some of it's just going to be clearing off some OSR nonsense that I just don't need. But I've got my entire unboxing desk that I haven't used in a long time is filled with games, and I've got like 30 books I'm giving away, all used. But so yeah, I mean,
to be honest, I prefer a used book over a new book. I know Shauner's head's exploding hearing that somewhere. I actually like that because that means one, it's not going into a landfill, and two, that means that thing was loved so much that they even with parting with it, they couldn't just throw it in the trash like the Player's Handbook probably should have been. That they want somebody else to have it. It makes it so much more personal. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weirdo, but
I hear what you're saying. I can't spell the word hypocrite.
Eating the bread of somebody else in the book.
This is a really interesting topic. I think you've mentioned a couple of points adjacent to it about like and I've investigated this in some of my previous videos about the relationship between system and game, or system and setting, and how sometimes they can't be divorced. And you mentioned, like the game flavor, the gameplay, and I'm wondering if some of these games just don't attract particular kinds of players, and because there's so many kinds of games and so many kinds of people that play the games, you just end up with people that just couldn't get along for nothing, like, I don't know, Coke or Pepsi or Ford or Chevy or whatever. Somebody's going to tell you that this game is, this Shadow Dark, whatever, is just the end all be all, and if you don't play it, you're a piece of shit. And then you got people that tell you that you have to play. You got guys like Scott Garibay who say that if you don't play 5e, then you are just a waste of space and just a detriment to the to the hobby in general. And it just becomes, and that's what started this topic. Was we were watching video previously from Total RPG Skills, talking about the death of the RPG community, and my counterpoint was, has there ever really been an RPG community? At least not since White Dwarf magazine stopped publishing articles that weren't based on 40K, right?
I think there's been a community, and I'll see, as somebody, again. So, for example, played in high school. We had our little group, right? But I've traveled all over the world for the military, and I've been able to play everywhere I go. And there are always some. Well, until recently, there are always some standards, if you want to call them, that are expectations that we could come across. Like I wasn't until I started YouTubing that I found out that people play differently than me. This is why I'm so adamant about how, hey, this is how we play. This is what's right. But no matter how many balls we busted, oh, you play the dumb edition. Like, back in basic versus, advanced. Like, oh, you play baby basic version. Oh, look at you. Oh, but it was all good natured. The first edition versus second edition, we didn't have a lot of that argument, but it was just like, it was still good natured in like, oh, look at you, you can't come up to modern times. Oh, look at you with your only 10d6 fireballs, that nonsense. It was only recent. Actually, I would say it started when WotC broke Dungeons and Dragons and made it something, WotC Fantasy RPG first edition instead of Dungeons and Dragons third edition, that it started to become a little bit more vitriolic. And then, we played Palladium, we played Champions, we played Harn, we played Torg, we played, I could just list off hundreds of games. Well, okay, dozens of games that we played, and nobody cared. Nobody had a problem with it until around the 2000 era, when everything had to be that the D20 clone nonsense, or you're just playing a nonsense game. That game just needs to die out. It's like, whoa, when did this happen?
It sounds like it's all on Wizards of the Coast's shoulders. To be honest, that's their business model that they absorbed from Games Workshop. And you don't hear that coming from anywhere else. You don't hear that from other game companies. Like, if you don't play our game, you're get the hell out.
A lot of them talk about playing other. Hell, we have Sean and Kevin on from Palladium Books, and they talk about playing other games. Of course, they promote their own. They want their own the best. But how do they make their games better? They play other ones so they can learn what others have done and be like, that's something we want to incorporate. Or, you know what? That's something we want to keep away from our game. Good players play multiple games. That doesn't mean you have to play every game out there, but good players will play multiple games.
You heard the
Isn't that what the old man himself said, Gary Gygax? You got to play other games. You got to play, different systems with different people. Yep. You had a list of, like 4 or 5 things that you need to do to be a great GM, and that was play other freaking games. Right off the bat was one of the first ones. Maybe. Yeah, I think everybody we all know mutually is taking that to heart, whether they know where it comes from or not, whether they can stand Gygax or not. They all do that, and they just proved it right. But it's when you're right, you're right. I'm going to play a whole lot more games, probably even games I don't want to play, but I'll still like. You know what? Some of my favorite people are playing, and I want to hang out with my favorite people.
Right. Okay. Well, it's 1800 Mountain Daylight, and I've got 15 minutes to finish getting dressed and get on the road because I need to be at the hospital.
Next time, just put some pants on before you stream.
You need to get in the scrubs.
I'm dressed.
Well, you said you have to get dressed.
No, I've got to put a scrub shirt on.
Oh, okay.
I've got to
Okay.
put a scrub shirt on because I'm a nurse and I've got to wear scrubs to the hospital. I'm wearing scrub pants already.
Oh, really?
No, I need to, comb my hair. And but I want everyone to give a final word, and you can tell me what you're promoting or what you're doing this week, and you promote your channels because I appreciate you coming by. And I'm going to grab a quick low carb meal and go to the hospital and comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. So, Mr. Max Bluffin, what are you doing this week, and what can you promote in your show?
I'm probably gonna have a stream tomorrow night, somewhat late. Probably start around 9:30, something like that. We usually go late in the morning because I reply to every message put in chat. It might take a while. Sometimes I reply to them an hour later, but I go through all your messages are important to me, so I go through all of them. And tomorrow I think I'm gonna talk about I want to talk about the language, about indie RPG and game design. It's kind of like a bring your own topic show, but you should drop by if you're free. Yeah, and that's it. And I'm on my way to 1,000. I'm only like 479 off.
You'll get there before I will, man.
Hmm?
Hey, I thought I heard that too. I thought I heard that.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry, I'm just trying to strip my 45 while I'm doing this. My bad.
I just hear that. It's like a dog whistle to me. It's like. So
I have both my 45 and my wife's baby gun, the P365, in front of me, and I was messing with them. So my bad.
America.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
No, I feel inadequate.
Shadow, what do you got going? I know you got your Saturday night Shadow chat. It's going to be in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. And then tomorrow, I am in what is going to be probably the most difficult game I've ever been in my life. It's a playtest session. Those of you guys who know, you know. And
Yeah, I've
wow.
got to admit it. I was supposed to get some material on it, but
You'll be in the next one. We'll make sure you're in the next one.
I've already talked to all the powers that be, and it's just right now it's just a matter of getting my work schedule straightened out. Mr. Max Lau, anything going on that you'd like for us to know about?
Yeah, the most important thing, streaming on Sunday, come watch if you want. But the big one is Veterans Day. I'm doing a 24-hour Veterans Day live stream for the Wounded Warrior Project. So if you guys want to hang out there, I'm starting at midnight. I'm not going to have a Friday night rando chill stream, whatever y'all want to call it. I'm going to be starting at midnight on Saturday. It's going to be for charity. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play some video games. I'm going to, have a panel discussion at some point there. Heathen Dog is going to run Call of Cthulhu at around 11 a.m. Central Time for 3-4 hours, so I can get a couple hours of sleep and then come back and finish it up. So that's the big thing for us.
Hey, let at least my son show up. He loves you, and actually asks about you all the damn time. And he's still doing JROTC, pumping out a 4.6 GPA color guard. And all the other shit.
You're a control freak.
I know. But hey, you know what? He's going to make captain. He's going to make captain any minute now. So it's all worth it.
All right. And as for me, I'm going to be at the hospital tonight and tomorrow night, and because that's the nature of the job. But I'll have some stuff going on. I am painting up the minis that Brian from Weird World War II sent. I've got this robot that's substantially complete. I was doing a non-metal metallic on the armor.
Nice.
I'll post up some still pics to my community tab. I have 82 subscribers now, but that's great considering how low production value my videos really are. We're trying to go for Bo Paints Minis. Thanks for letting me jump on. You did, of course, dude.
Hey,
These guys.
You know what? We're gonna get you to 100 by Christmas, by hook
Yeah,
or crook.
whatever happens. I'm just here for fun, to promote my weird idea of role playing and how to get it all together and just sit and talk. But I do need to get a quick bite and get some socks and shoes on and get on up for my. Like I said, luckily the commute's a lot easier on Saturday than it is during the week. So thanks for stopping by. Anybody catching this late, leave a comment or you can email me at bopaintsminis@gmail.com. Give these guys a watch too. These are some of the guys that I watch consistently. Mini Warmut, Weird World War II, Nerds Nerd showed up in the chat. Cal, Check their channels out. There's a lot of really good
Hungar.
stuff. Hungar. You
Yeah.
can find us
Hungar.
on Discord. You can find us here. And let's try to build the kind of gaming community that we really want to have. and not the
Community,
kind-
no.
and not the kind that the wokeists and the forced inclusion people insist that we have. So let's remember, it's your hobby, your way. Have fun. The specific companies like WotC and Games Workshop are not the hobby, and the hobby is not Games Workshop. You do what you want to do, and if you're not enjoying it, find something that you do enjoy. I bid you peace and hope you have a really safe weekend. All right?
Have a good
Yeah.
night.
And happy trails. Say it.
Happy trails.
Happy trails to you.
And
Oh,
Brian,
man.
we will keep it weird.
Absolutely.
All right.